Quality Assured Films.
Welcome back to Quality Assured Films Weekly, Episode 2. I'm Mike, and my pronouns are he and him.
And I'm Jon, and my pronouns are he and him.
What week is it, Jon?
We are now in the week of the 18th of May, 2020.
Nice. Last week, we did our first weekly episode, and that is live and subtitled. And you can go check that out now on YouTube.
Yes. Not to mention, since we last checked in, we threw up, 2016, our end of decade series. 2017 just came out a couple days ago. I want to really say I had so much fun with these, especially as we keep getting closer and closer to the new year, and as you know, our production value started getting a little better. I love going back to these old sketches that we have and just showing them. So if people get an opportunity to look back at, Baby Driver sketch, the fake awards show that we did, which we've done multiple years, where we literally cut to celebrities, it's amazing. It's so much fun. So check it out if you haven't already. And leave a comment if you get a chance to watch.
Good point. And another exciting thing is we recorded our first batch of 2020 episodes. So look for those to be coming out after our decade series is done.
Right. And the final part of our decade series, which is 2018, because we already did our best of 2019. That'll actually be out very soon. Sometime next week, probably early next week.
Looking forward to it.
So what do we got going on? What's new, Mike?
Well, we said last time that we would add a new segment, and so I'm going to add a news segment. The news. We're going to talk about the news.
I wish I had a pile of papers like a...
So first up, in memoriam, Fred Willard.
Yep.
Comedy legend, R.I.P.
He's what is that? The end of this month, the 29th, I believe. He's in that Space Force Netflix show that I'm looking forward to. So I think that might have been one of his last projects, obviously.
One of my favorites is him as one of the sportscasters, I guess. I can't think of the vocab word right now. Doing the Westminster Dog Show.
Oh,
in that movie. Is that movie just called Dog Show?
Best in Show.
Best in Show.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, he was amazing. He was in all those movies. Man, we're losing people. And it wasn't the virus, right? This was other causes, I assume. The news with Jon.
Of course you'd ask me that. I don't know.
I'm sure they would have called that out if it were. So, as soon as you hear someone dies, you're immediately like, oh God, is it this?
Was it Waiting for Guffman when he was was it Mighty Wind when he was like, what happened? Hey, what happened?
I don't remember
that.
No.
Oh shit. That's another classic. Oh man. This is great content. Me looking up Fred Willard's cause of death.
You're welcome, world.
Died of natural causes at his home.
Oh wow, okay.
Okay. Moving on. R.I.P. Fred Willard.
Yes.
Do you have any news items?
Not particularly. I mean, obviously we could say that we have a fuckface for a president, which we all know and continue to know daily, and I don't know what else to say other than that.
Entertainment news items.
Yes, please.
Ruby Rose leaving Batwoman. I'm not anxious. I'm interested to see what the story is there.
Yeah, because that was only one season, right?
Yeah, although she had a couple of the CW crossovers as the character before the series started. Okay. And I thought she was great as the character. Like her and Melissa Benoit as Supergirl. Like those were those two characters. I was like, give me this show, please. I want these two characters being like the world's finest. Tying in to a few of our older episodes, it was announced that on the upcoming HBO Max streaming service, the Snyder cut of the Justice League movie is going to be released.
Oh, wow. Uh-oh. I know people have been asking for that forever, and... Because, oh, man.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying I'm curious. I'm curious because I know we both shat all over that movie, rightfully so. So yeah, you get to see his vision.
Perhaps it may be a more coherent vision. That does not mean it's going to be good.
Right.
We already have a fully Zack Snyder-fied movie, and it's Batman v Superman. So, I know. The precedent has been set, is what I'm saying.
Right.
It's not going to magically make this movie amazing. Okay, some things which just happened today. The trailer, a bunch of Netflix trailers came out. So one for a movie called The Old Guard, which is Charlize Theron playing Immortal Warrior. Was a comic book, was an Image comic. So this isn't movie. Sorry, it's a movie adaptation.
Wow. Okay.
And Spike Lee's new movie, Da 5 Bloods.
Oh, it's a Netflix film.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I'm guessing because he had that show. He did a TV adaptation of She's Gotta Have It.
Yeah.
And so there must have been some sort of deal involved with that.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that is about a platoon of Vietnam U.S. soldiers during the Vietnam War who hide they have a buried treasure of gold that they hide during the war, and then in the present day they reunite and they go to try to find where it was again, something like that.
Okay. I was gonna say that sounds a little similar to oh god, what was that movie with Martin Lawrence where he hides the diamond and then he goes to jail for 10 or 15 years or something, and then he comes out and searches for it. Blue Shield? I don't know.
I've never heard of it, I don't think.
I'm sure if Spike Lee were watching, but yeah, it's like that, John. You fuck.
Other Netflix things. Avatar: The Last Airbender, the full series cartoon came out on Netflix. Yeah,
I've been seeing the trailers whenever Netflix on the homepage. And I never actually watched it.
It's great. You should.
That's what I've heard. And it's surprising because it's Nickelodeon, right? Not that I'm saying Nickelodeon has crap, but it's Nickelodeon, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That was 2000, early 2000s. I think it wrapped up in 2005 or 6 or something like that. I could be. It was somewhere around that time, I think. And a show that I recommended in one of our TV episodes, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. That I think it's the final season. Probably should have checked. Don't remember. But new season just came out, so I'm looking forward to watching that.
Awesome.
It is also the 40th anniversary of my personal favorite movie of all time.
Akira?
That is definitely up there. You can barely see a poster of that movie right here. But The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh. And it's going to be on Netflix?
No. I'm just saying another new item, another news item.
Okay. I was going to say Disney Plus is going to be excuse me, Netflix. Okay, that makes sense. 40 years. Holy shit. Yeah.
May of 1980. Wow.
We were not born, obviously.
Nope. Not too far out. The same decade.
Yeah.
I also wanted to throw out there, I hope everyone has a nice Memorial Day weekend this weekend. I know we are in the middle of a pandemic, but if you can have a nice one, have a nice one.
Yeah.
And for us here in PA, the deadline to register to vote by mail for the primary election is May 26th. So don't miss that. You can register online.
Yeah, you know what? Let's throw the link in the description, right? Make it easy.
Oh, good idea. Yeah.
Vote.
That's all the news items that I have. Do you have any more?
Just piggybacking off real quick what you're talking about with the Memorial Day weekend, I was reading a couple articles about how some national parks are opening for Memorial Day weekend in the midst of all this. They're opening with new guidelines and rules, but they're also concerns because there might not be enough staffing. And this is all around the country. So if you're going to go to these places, I mean, number one, try not to. But if you're going to, obviously you wear the mask, you know, walk around people. Let's not fucking... I'd like to go out sometime in the future, please. So. But that's all I have for news.
Okay. That's the end of the news segment. Now we're going on to other topics we want to talk about. Why don't you go first?
I want to tell you really quick that, and you at home, this Monday on Netflix is Uncut Gems. It finally comes to Netflix. And you and I did one of the, in my opinion, one of the funniest openings to it. But I highly recommend you watch the movie first and then watch our opening. Otherwise, it doesn't, the context isn't as great. But that'll be on Monday. That was the 25th of May. So check it out. And then check us out.
Love it. Okay, so we talked last time about movies adapting to this new streaming service in our last weekly. Yep. We talked about movies adapting to streaming, movies that are just coming out. One of which is the movie Scoob. Which...
Yeah!
Slinks!
Scooby!
Like, whoa, Scoob!
Shaggy! I know, it looks cute. I mean, it's,
Yeah, I want to see it. I wanted to watch it. I have a soft spot in my heart for Scooby-Doo because we grew up in a time where the only thing on TV was fucking reruns of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
So I've watched a fuck ton of Scooby-Doo. And so I have a soft spot for it. And I was like, I want to watch this. $20 to rent it.
Ooh. See, they're also kind of like what we were talking last episode. They're like, these are people probably with 5-6 family members all watching it for $20. So you break that cost down. But I know what you're saying. Like,
I see that mentality, but that's the first one I've seen actually do it. Every other new release that I've rented has been like $5, $6.
Wow. Okay. Oh, then this is definitely a jump.
Yeah. So I think they're seeing if they can get away with it. And I was like, well, I'm not fucking watching it. What am I going to do? Call people over to watch it?
Right. Charge them at the door.
Can't do that right now. That was the joke I was making.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't exactly have a fucking watch party now, can I?
Right.
Anyway. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, no, you're right. They're doing that because they know that freaking people, especially with children and families, they're going to spend the money. It's something to distract the kids or distract the whole family for an hour or two. Or 3. No. Speaking of Scooby-Doo really quick, there's like 900 different versions of it now. Various. There was one I was watching where it was literally, who does Shaggy date? Jinkies. They're together.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, well, and like this version.
Velma.
Yeah. So the whole, like, I watched 2 or 3 episodes of this, and the whole time she's pushing him to stop saying like. She's like, you sound ignorant when you say like. And he's like, I can't help it. It's like, don't take the likes away from him. It's freaking Shaggy.
Yeah.
What is happening? And anytime she says, she's like, see? You just said it again. It's like, I can't help it. What the hell is happening?
Jeez, what's up with that?
I don't get that.
Why are they pushing the heterosexual agenda on Velma? What is with this?
But yeah, find out where it all started in the prequel we were all asking for, Scoob.
Well, I think it's like a reboot, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're all younger. Like it's like an origin story and reboot or something.
Oh, right, okay.
And I think the Falcon or Blue Falcon and Dynomutt are in it also.
That's hilarious. I did see Blue Falcon on the poster.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my rant about Scoob being $20 fucking. Okay, what's our next topic?
Let me see. I talked about Space Force. I've just been. So I signed up for Disney Plus for a 7-day free trial, just, like a lot of people do, to watch some stuff. Like, that's where I ended up watching Skywalker, The Final Frontier. And I forgot to cancel it, which is also what Disney Plus hopes you do. So now I have it for a month. But I was going through the library, and oh my god, man. There's so many different things I started rewatching, like My Girl. Oh, wait. Was that Disney Plus or was that Netflix? Either way, My Girl. So I got to see Macaulay Culkin die all over again as a little 10-year-old. That was great.
Well, spoilers, John. Hey.
Sorry.
My Girl spoilers.
He gets the bumblebee bites and then he slaps his face, like in the movie where he gets left home. I also watched Jungle to Jungle with Tim Allen and
JTT.
No, not Jonathan Taylor Thomas. This one was the one where he has the son that lives over in the jungle and he brings him back. It's not played by him though, but it is played.
Oh, I thought it was. What's the one with him? It's the two. There's one with the two of them, isn't there?
I mean, I know they were together in Home Improvement, but what's the I'll Be Home for Christmas? I know JTT's in that, but I don't.
Oh God! Now you're really gonna. This is really gonna be my Google history.
JTT movies. JT squared.
Man of the House is the name of it.
Okay. It's just so amazing to go back and watch movies that we have not watched since we were children, and to see all these jokes that went right over your head. I know Disney does a lot of stuff with death in the family, divorce, family splitting up. Like literally, Jungle to Jungle is a movie about Tim Allen divorcing his wife, so he has to fly to an island to get her to sign the papers or whatever, and then he finds out he has a son. But it's like, who pitched that? Hey, Disney kids want to see a divorce, but there'll be a little kid that knows how to shoot the bow and arrow, and we'll take him to the big city. What?
This kid, the person that played the kid was Sam Huntington. You may know from Detroit Rock City, Fanboys, Not Another Teen Movie. I'm pretty sure he was on Freaks and Geeks, but I'm looking through this now.
Oh, I wonder. Yeah, he might have been.
Maybe not. No, I must be thinking of Detroit Rock City. Anyway, that's who played the kid in that movie.
It's so great. I
was mixing up Jungle to Jungle and Man of the House. Movies I haven't thought about in 20 years.
That's what's so great about watching them. Even Monty Python and the Holy Grail was on TV the other day, and I was like, again, I haven't watched it straight through at least in like 10, 15 years. Watched the whole thing. And we talked about this, well, we haven't aired those episodes yet, but it was only an hour and 30 minutes long instead of 3 hours or 2 hours and 50 minutes like most movies nowadays. And they were smart too because they put the credits at the beginning of the movie, and then at the end it's just like a good 2 minutes of just black with the music playing. And like, come on, people.
Yes, there's a joke there that I'll preserve for anyone who hasn't seen it. I will preserve a Monty Python the Holy Grail spoiler.
Oh wow!
One of the best endings of all time, in my opinion. One of the best movies of all time, but certainly the ending.
Yes.
There's even a couple minutes of intermission added to that runtime. So yeah, you don't need 2.5 hours to make a statement.
No.
Speaking of 2.5 hours, there were a couple thoughts I had on The Invisible Man. We have an episode where we talk about it coming up. But something I didn't get into that episode, and I just wanted to touch on briefly that I thought of after the fact, and I thought, I should have said that in the episode, was that there's kind of a trope in media where people of color, black characters specifically, take on the emotional labor of helping fix white characters who are usually the protagonist of that media. And while I was watching the movie, that is something that is a trope that Invisible Man did not escape, and so I wanted to just call on that as like, I don't know what they were exactly going for with that. I thought we talked about how we liked those actors' performances, but
right.
I just thought they didn't escape that. Anyway, that was my thought on that. I wanted to get it out there. What's next? I have a big list, so I wanted to try to go like back and forth if possible, but I could just rattle stuff off if you want.
Yeah, start rattling, and then I'll join in.
Okay. So I was looking back at our 2015 episode recently, in which we talk about Mad Max Fury Road. I also mentioned that one of my favorite YouTube channels is Cartoonist Kayfabe. Mm-hmm. They interviewed the artist Brendan McCarthy, who did all... I'm doing a thing here. So they interviewed Brendan McCarthy, this artist, very famous artist, and I learned that Brendan McCarthy did all of the production and character design on that CGI show Reboot.
Oh my god. I remember Reboot, yeah.
Yes.
The blue people and
yeah.
I love that show.
That I want to go back and watch it again now, knowing that. How this ties together is that he was also the concept artist for Mad Max Fury Road, because Fury Road was in development for a very long time. There is an episode of Reboot where they do a parody of the Road Warrior, and the name of that episode is called Bad Bob. Bob was the main character of Reboot.
Right.
So like it all comes full circle.
That is amazing.
Yeah. And I started looking up some of his concept art for Reboot. He did the whole series.
Wow.
He didn't just do the artwork and then bounce. Like, he was there for the whole show.
That's amazing, yeah.
Yeah. And his designs, clearly they still hold up, so I thought that was a pretty cool connection. I wanted to rant for a minute about, so Ghost in the Shell is a franchise which is very close to my heart. That was one of the first anime movies and series I'd ever seen. We talked about it in our review of the Ghost in the Shell movie with ScarJo.
Yeah. One of our very few episodes where we had a special guest.
That's right.
Vinny.
Yes. And so a new Ghost in the Shell series came out on Netflix. Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex 2045. And so I was compelled to watch it. Mm-hmm. And I hated it. I watched like 5 minutes, 10 minutes of it, and it repulsed me, and I turned it off, and I can't bring myself to go back and watch it anymore.
Oh, wow. What was it about it?
So, Ghost in the Shell, the original movie, groundbreaking, extremely influential. It's one of those movies that I think it still holds up, but it's one of those movies where, sort of like Alien and Aliens, where so many movies and that influenced those things influenced generations of creators. So the movies and shows that have been coming out since those things came out have been pulling from and building on the things that are in those pieces of media. And you might watch it now and be like, this is old hat, but really it's what a lot of the things that you like now came from. So where I'm going with that is the original, the opening sequence of the Ghost in the Shell movie is the Major's body, android body, being built piece by piece. And we made some joke about that during that review, where they tried to do a recreation of that sequence, and it wasn't as impressive now in the movie.
Yep.
So you should go watch our review of that to hear why. the reason I bring it up now is they also have an opening sequence like that in this new show, but this new show now exists after all that stuff that I just said. So there's been 20 years of people riffing on that since then, and now this new show comes out. Instead of, for example, the show Westworld on HBO, the opening sequence of Westworld is the whole concept of Westworld obviously came before Ghost in the Shell, but the TV show is extremely influenced by the aesthetics and ideology of Ghost in the Shell. So the opening sequence of the show is of one of these androids being built with the milky substance and everything straight out of Ghost in the Shell. Now this new Ghost in the Shell thing comes out and just does the fucking Westworld opening. It's just the Westworld opening. They have the ring, they got the body going through it, they got the white milk. And I know that stuff came from Ghost in the Shell, but it's not even, it's just the Westworld opening. And so right off the bat, I'm like, okay, do something new.
Yeah.
And of course, because it's a bad, horny anime, they have boobies in it. So it's like, it's just boobs. And it's like, okay, the innovation I wasn't looking for is boobs. Then the first 5 minutes of the show is somebody like oogling the major and commenting on how hot she is. And like the characters in the show laugh about it, but the camera clearly sides with this guy and is like, yes, she is very hot, isn't she? I bet you the viewer would like to look at this hot person. And I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking feeling this. Like, this is not the Ghost in the Shell that I signed up for. Which is weird because I'm kind of going through this time where I'm having... Since I've gained ideology, I'm now having to reevaluate all of the things and call into question all the things I like. So it made me think like my favorite Ghost in the Shell thing is that standalone complex TV show, which I also talked about in the review. And then I started thinking, well, the show, the movie is more about the two movies are kind of lean more towards cyberpunk and consciousness and are the robots people. I think the show maybe leans a little bit more into this is a badass Black Ops police force team. And I'm kind of like going through this thing of being like, oh, wait, maybe I need to watch it again and like see what it has to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does it know that the cops are fascist arms of the state and think that they're cool, or do they still do cool shit but the show knows they're bad? And they're like commenting on that? I don't remember. It's been too long. So it's this weird period of time where I'm like reevaluating this stuff. Anyway, that's my rant on the new Ghost in the Shell series, which I watched 5 minutes of and it sucks.
Well, I remember in one of I think it was the anime episode that we did, you talked about, excuse me. No, you talked about how that happens a lot in animes where the girls and then the butts and the skirts and and it's like, come on, people. So what you're saying, they never really did that in Ghost of the Shell before, and now, or
there has always been a horny angle to Ghost in the Shell where they show off the major's body, or she's not wearing any clothing because she there's a bunch of internal logic of the show for why it is, but the reason it's like that is because people are horny making the show.
Master Roshi's behind the
behind the animating table. Yeah, so there has always been that, but it has not stopped the show to a grinding halt to be like, let's check out the Major's boobs. Let's have this character like talk about how hot she is. I was just not feeling it. Do better. Got to do better. I watched the opening of Dark. Well, no, I watched the whole movie of Dark Phoenix.
Oh God.
Because I hate myself.
Yeah. Welcome to the club, my friend.
It's really bad. Spoilers.
I know.
It sucks ass. They basically just remade The Last Stand. It ends in the exact same way. What I wasn't expecting is that I liked the first 20 minutes of it. I really liked the first 20 minutes of that movie.
Okay. That's where they're in space and everything.
Yeah, they get to actually be the superheroic X-Men superheroes and go on a mission as the X-Men, known to the public. Phone call from the president.
Yep.
I really liked that. That wasn't the movie. That gets dropped so fucking fast. And also I was like, we finally got the 90s costumes at the end of Apocalypse. And even though Apocalypse was terrible, I was so excited to finally get those 90s costumes. And they just fucking skipped over all that and went right to the fucking 2000s.
Yep. I know, it was so boring, and that was the end of that trilogy, whatever, fucking 900 movies. But like you said in our other review that we posted not that long ago, Logan should have been the end of it, and I agree with you, my friend.
Who knows whether New Mutants is ever going to come out? It was supposed to come out, and then it got delayed again because of COVID. So,
yep.
I looked this up. It is pronounced Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Are you serious?
Yes. It is not Winstead.
I guess it makes sense since there's no
E.
E. Oh, English language or whatever. Oh, words.
That she played Huntress in Birds of Prey, which is another episode we'll have coming out soon.
Yes, look forward to
that. I checked a few other things off of my backlog. So I finished Kingdom Hearts 3. I said I was going to talk about video games in this weekly thing, and I'm making good on it. I have you all hostage.
Oh, man.
All I want to say is that it was fucking incomprehensible. I know that's the running joke of the Kingdom Hearts franchise, but I'm not going to play 20 side stories on mobile devices that only came out in Japan to enjoy a fucking video game story. I don't believe in that. I know it's who sees the sequel without seeing the original? But I played the ones that had whole numbers on them, and I had no clue what the fuck was happening. So I was looking on YouTube, which I don't normally like to do because obviously we have this channel. I like to come up with my own thoughts, but they give you nothing to go on. And I search, and there's whole YouTube channels dedicated to explaining the story of this fucking franchise.
Oh my God.
Making something so complex that your audience can't understand it doesn't make it some kind of genius work of art. It's just incomprehensible.
Right. They think that because everyone's trying to figure it out and talking about it after, that it must mean it was a success with us getting it in your brain. But no.
But then I can't latch on to anything and have an emotional connection to it because the whole time I'm just like, who the fuck is this? Where did they come from? What the fuck is happening?
Yep.
These are questions that your audience should not be asking themselves.
Oh, man.
But anyway, another video game I played was the remake of Final Fantasy VII, which I mentioned last time. Finally came out for 15 years. And it was fine. I was expecting it to be dumpster fire, and it wasn't, which is probably a miracle on its own. I actually found it really fun to play. The combat was one of my favorite Final Fantasy combat systems. What I found the most interesting about it, which is what I wanted to bring up, was that when Final Fantasy 13 came out on PS3, a very common criticism of it was that it was just, the open world, the open map that you traverse was gone, and instead it was just a bunch of hallways that you run down and monsters pop up, and you just run down the hallway and fight monsters, and that's the whole game. Well, that's also this whole game.
Oh,
so
okay.
It made me think, do we need to go back and like reevaluate? That was the reason I finished 13 at the time. This was probably like 2009, maybe. And I bounced off of that game. Like it didn't really resonate with me, but it had a great combat system. And I just thought, oh, that's interesting that now we're a decade or more later and extremely similar, but but now this game has been well received. So I thought that was interesting. And the ending is the ending of the remake of FF7, in my opinion, was a hot mess, an interesting mess, but a hot mess. And I hope it's not another 10 years till we get the sequel, because it's not the whole game, if you didn't know that.
No, I didn't. So
They
wait,
only
15 years and they didn't give you the whole game?
Yes, they released. They turned the first third of the original game into a full 50-hour campaign.
Damn.
And then left the ending open for like, will we make the next part of the game that you remember? Maybe we'll do something different. And like, I'd be cool with them doing something different. But also, I kind of feel like, well, I bet a lot of people came to this who played it when we were growing up expecting Final Fantasy VII as a next-gen game, and instead they got the first third of it with an ending that I don't know is going to leave many of those people satisfied. A couple of great podcasts that talked about the game at length, if you're watching this and you care about that kind of thing, is Waypoint Radio. That's Vice's video game segment, and Abnormal Mapping. Both of those video game podcasts have some really great in-depth conversations about that game, so I recommend listening to those.
Nice.
Anything you want to bring up?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, one last thing before we start to wrap up is I wanted to talk about the Video Essay podcast.
Oh, is that the one you sent me that I listened to? Ooh, yeah, that was really good. Like, I don't get to listen to a ton of podcasts myself, but you sent it to, I know, who was it?
Well, it's funny because last episode I was like, I know you listen to a ton of podcasts.
And I was like, yeah. I mean, I used to all the time. I still do from time to time, especially when I'm out like running or walking or something. But yeah, I put it. You sent it to me. Who was it? What was the name?
Shannon Strucci is the guest. The name of the podcast is the Video Essay Podcast. It's on SoundCloud.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was so interesting, and she was great because she went into she has that Strucci movies, or which you mentioned on our YouTube episode. And it was awesome because she's talking about her behind the scenes of how she comes up with an idea. And she talked about her editing process and wanting to, like, make things funny. And that hit home to me, man, because I love a good gag or a good visual. Yeah, she's amazing. And that guy was really good, too. And he gives you, like, homework or whatever. Like,
oh, yeah. So he was talking about an editing project. So he was saying, if you want to hone your skills getting into the video essay field, here's some homework for you.
Oh, okay. That's so cool.
So yeah, I recommend checking that out if you can. It's on SoundCloud, the Video Essay Podcast. The episode we listened to specifically the guest was Shannon Strucci. I think she had some really, like John said, she had some really insightful things to say. It may be inside baseball for us who are constantly thinking about this stuff, but I think she had some really thoughtful things to say about creating content and putting yourself online.
Yes.
Good food for thought. So I recommend checking that out if you have, an hour, if you're doing the dishes or something.
Yeah, or you're making taco salads meatless. Hey, that's what I was doing.
Nice. Are those does that end our topics?
I think it does. Yeah, I got everything written down and I put the little check marks with it, and yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, I wanted to talk about I wanted to follow up on some of the things we talked about our show from the last episode. The first one being the giant Excel sheet of all the movies and shows that we talked about through all of our QA Films episodes. I successfully updated that document like I said I wanted to.
Nice, man.
So I'm just patting myself on the back for that one.
That thing is a beast. And that has what? 6 years of our approvals, denials, films we talked about, time codes, episode numbers. It's like our what's that AFI, or what is that book? 100 movies or whatever. They would always release it every year, and it was like American Film Institute's top 100. It's our version, Jon and Mike's fucking lots of movies spreadsheet. That Mike worked his ass off.
I even realized that I had not formatted the time codes into the duration formatting, and so I had to go and do that, which was really annoying, but now it'll be much easier to read.
So you're going to be posting that?
Yeah, so hopefully by the time that this weekly episode is out, we will post the link to this file on our social media, so our Facebook and our Instagram, and probably the description of this video if it's ready in time. And you can check out this document. So if you are, definitely, as we said in our last weekly, watch the episodes, please. But if you are looking for something to watch and you're endlessly scrolling through your queue, open up our Excel file. You can sort it any which way. Oh, maybe you can't sort it because you won't have editing rights.
Oh yeah, otherwise people like erase it.
Okay, you won't be able to do that, but you'll be able to scroll through and see what we talked about and what we rated it. And then after you're done watching it, you can always look up the episode number and the time code, and then you can go see what we had to say about it.
Yes, this is awesome.
What's next?
Oh yes, are we doing the socials?
Oh yeah, we could do that really quickly. I also wanted to talk about the subtitling, the closed captioning process that I've been working on.
Dude, that give yourself 2 pats on the back for that one. Like, tell him.
Thanks. So I've been thinking about this for a long time. I feel really badly that I did not do it any sooner. It could have been done by now. But regardless, I didn't, and here we are, and it is time for our channel to be a little bit more accessible to those that may need closed captions or subtitles for whatever reason.
Yep.
And so I started in earnest going and subtitling our episodes, putting captions. And so the episodes that are done as of this recording are our first weekly episode, our 2016 Decade in Review episode, and our 2015 Decade in Review episode. And if you click the CC button on YouTube, or if you click the 3 dots and then you click captions and you turn captions on, English captions, you will now get my captions on those 3 videos. More coming soon. I quickly realized that this is not going to be I said quick twice. Anyway, this is not going to be something that happens in a short amount of time. It's extremely grueling It's extremely time intensive. It's because not only the transcription takes a long time, but
Right.
not only after you're done transcribing, then you have to set all the timing manually for when they appear. I have always respected a good subtitle in a show, but I have even more immense respect to people creating these subtitles.
Yeah.
You deserve to be paid a fortune, a handsome fee for your work.
You should point out too that not only are you transcribing our words, but you're, like other subtitles do, you're transcribing some of the emotions in them, sound effects sometimes. It's like when you were telling me this and you were telling me how long it takes you, I was like, holy shit. Like I know it takes me a long time to edit, but that is like, whoo, amazing, man. Amazing.
Oh, thanks. I'm waiting to congratulate myself until they're all done. Part of me feels like, well, it's just something that should be done. It should be a given because it's an accessibility item that should just be accounted for. I feel really badly that I didn't do it before now. So I'm kind of waiting, I wish I had done it, and I wish I didn't even have to talk about it. But I wanted to talk about it to give a little insight into it because it's not something I knew about until I started doing it.
No,
And
I mean, people can do the auto subtitles that YouTube tries to match, but we know those are flawed a lot. So yeah, I mean, I never even knew this was something that people had to manually do. And to hear the stories you were telling me, it's like, wow, money, pay these people.
yes, please, because I've definitely started looking up people who do this for a living, and they're paid. They're extremely underpaid, let's say, and so much respect. And I will strive to do better going forward. Please don't expect this to be done anytime soon. Basically, I think if I did it every day, I could do one a day, but it basically takes all day to get one done. So I can't imagine somebody that has to do a whole season of television
Yeah.
or something.
Oh my god.
Anyway, subtitles.
So the socials, here we go. Ready? Boom. We're everywhere. QA Films. Check us out on Instagram, QA_films. Facebook is Quality Assured Films. Where else are we, Mike?
We are also at our email. Haven't gotten any emails yet. Still waiting on that first one. qualityassuredfilms@gmail.com.
Yep. I even checked right before we came on. I was like, maybe there'll be one real quick. Jimmy, long distance dedication. But no, nothing yet. But yeah, drop us a line, as they say. Tell us what's up.
Was that a Casey Kasem reference?
It was. Melissa says, Michael and John are great.
First voice of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
We come full circle, even though we didn't start at Scoob, but we kind of did. Look at that.
For the purposes of that callback, we did.
We did. Oh, another great episode. You got anything else?
Subscribe.
Yes. What's that?
Hit the bell. Leave a comment. Do it.
Join us. Join us.
Thank you if you have already. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Everyone says that, but it helps the channel come up in the algorithm for people that aren't. So the more interactions that happen with the channel, the more likely somebody is to get it recommended to them. So that's why every YouTube channel on earth says it. We didn't want to say it for a long time because it's kind of cheesy, but fuck it.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Should we call it a day? Should we call it a weekly episode?
I think we should call it. So look forward, as we mentioned earlier, we have some the final part of our decade series coming out, and I'll post some things on Instagram too, especially on Monday, reminding people about the Uncut Gems and to check that out. But yeah, That's all I got.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, keep washing them Hanes. Stay the fuck away. Stay at home if you can.
Yes. And if you're going to be someone, I just want to really quickly, as a runner / jogger, social distancing, very important, as we all know. I mean, wear a mask. I'm still wearing a mask when I run, and it actually, I think, helps me because I'm kind of training my body to run with a little less oxygen. It might sound kind of crazy, but just because you're running by someone doesn't mean that your fucking germs and your droplets, especially your droplets, can't get on them. So either move out of the way. I fucked up my leg this morning because of that. So just a little.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at the. You sounded very walking when you said that.
Oh, I hurt my leg.
I fucked up my leg this morning.
This morning.
Sorry. I'm sorry you hurt your leg. That's fucked up. Move
Thanks, man.
out of the fucking way, people.
Come on.
Stay distanced.
Please. Well, I guess that's it. I'm John.
Oh,
sorry. You're like, what?
Hold on.
Oh, we never said anything about the yeah, go ahead.
Yes, you do it. Go ahead.
Our essential workers, our volunteers, our healthcare workers, thank you so much for everything you're doing. My sister Cassandra on the front lines, all of those people. Not only are you amazing and thank you, but you also deserve to be paid properly, and hopefully that day comes. So thank you all.
Thank you, John. Okay, let's get out of here.
All right. I'm John.
I'm Mike.
And we are
Quality Assured Films. Bye.
Peace. I'm out.